The Naruto side of the Jump Force roster is probably next to the Yu-Gi-Oh roster, the one I'm most excited about. My best childhood friend introduced me to the series. I love the way that the fights are paced in Naruto. Everything about Naruto and its characters is really enjoyable to me. There are a few things that I would change about Naruto and its history, but that's not for this video. The reason I bring all of that up is to illustrate how much I care about specifically Naruto compared to the rest of the roster. For people who don't know how I do these videos, I list off a bunch of different characters who could theoretically make it into the game, and then I go into detail about why or why I don't think they're going to show up. So let's jump straight into it with Gaara. Gaara is by far my most desired character from Naruto. I've always loved Gaara since part 1. Gaara was built up so well from a narrative perspective. I'm really not confident in this decision, but I really don't think he's gonna make it in. Despite being a fan favorite character, the character isn't very story relevant. If you completely disregard the first arc, he wasn't used in Shippuden way up until the war arc, or well, technically just before the war arc with the Kage summit, which makes sense because he's the Kazekage from a different nation, or not nation, but village. But still, his attendance was so low, it would almost feel weird at this point to see him on the same roster as Naruto and Sasuke. Itachi. Personally, I would like to attempt to limit the amount of Uchihas, or Sharingan users, I should say. I don't want both Sasuke and Itachi in the same game. Itachi is an amazing character, and of course he's got some moves that Sasuke doesn't have, but if we're limited to 4 or so characters, I feel like Itachi is almost a wasted slot. And yes, I'm fully aware of how popular the character is, because I feel that as well. I very much like Itachi as a character, but that doesn't excuse the fact that if Itachi was in the game, and we're only adding Itachi, granted that's probably not what's happening, but if we only got Itachi, well then 66% of the roster would be Sharingan users. Kakashi Hatake. Kakashi is so close to being a Uchiha, but if we were to get another Sharingan character just like Kakashi Hatake, and we were to get Itachi just from before, 75% of the roster would be Sharingan users. He also seems to be very popular right now, which I'm not sure why. I think it's because he was really important during the end of Shippuden, and of course he was also the original leader of Team 7. As cool as Kakashi is, I don't really want him to show up, but I do think he's pretty likely, but I'm still unsure about it. Hinata. Please, Hinata is probably the most popular female Naruto character, so that's a big plus for her, to be honest. She's also married to the main character. She's also the most likely Hyuga. In fact, I didn't even put Neji on this list because of how unlikely he is. However, I still don't think this one will happen. Minato is the father of the main character and arguably one of the most important ninja in history, but I'm pretty convinced at this point that his chances are very low, despite his impact on the ninja world being very important. It comes back to the fact that the roster is going to be so small that Minato justifying his slot is very difficult. Sakura. I'm fully aware of the amount of hate in the Naruto community for Sakura's character, but Sakura is clearly the most important female character as far as the story is concerned, especially in Shippuden. Unless of course you want to make a case for Kaguya. If Kakashi is added to the same game as Sasuke and Naruto, Sakura would be a solid addition to the game. She would help fill out the entire Team 7. In fact, if at any point Kakashi gets announced, I would even bump Sakura up to a very likely. I would also have to adjust the amount of characters I predict to show up in the game, because for the Naruto roster, I was previously only predicting 2 more characters, but if Kakashi was to show up, I would have to adjust that to 3, because I think if they add Kakashi, I think that they're also going to add Sakura, and I don't think they would leave the full Naruto roster to just be Team 7. I think they would add in a villain as well. Speaking of villains, Pain. Pain is my favorite villain for a lot of reasons. One is aesthetically, he's awesome. Pain was built up in a way that made him feel like a literal god. He was also a perfect test for Naruto's philosophy and worldview. Also, I find it very interesting that Naruto and Sasuke aren't in their adult costumes, or I should say they're not adults yet. One reason for this may be to limit the amount of characters in the game, with Almighty Push perhaps maybe making a case for Pain's inclusion on the roster, although admittedly, this one is a bit of a stretch. Kaguya would be very cool for gameplay reasons, but really I just don't see this character making it in because she's not popular enough. Orochimaru. Most of Orochimaru's importance is in part 1. In fact, I would argue that he's more important in Boruto than he is in Shippuden. So for similar reasons as to Gaara, it doesn't seem like he would show up, and it's certain that Gaara is a much more popular character, so if either of these two were to show up, it would certainly be Gaara before it was Orochimaru, and I don't think Gaara's going to show up, so I'm going to go so far as to say that Orochimaru is very unlikely. Finally, I have a DLC prediction, and that's Boruto. I've really enjoyed the Boruto series. I'll be honest, I would much rather Sarada in the game, because Sarada is just the best. But Boruto is the main character. Considering Naruto to Boruto Shinobi Strikers has only 3 Boruto characters, reminder that Boruto is in the title of that game, I doubt Boruto would ever get more than 1 character in Jump Force. In fact, I don't even think it's likely that they'll get 1 character. With all of that being said though, I could totally see Boruto join the fight as a lone DLC character from the Boruto series. I think this one would be pretty awesome, but I don't think it's very likely. And the final character I'll be talking about in this video, Madara. The reason I bring up Madara is purely because he was in J-Stars, and I feel like that's going to put the character into question by a lot of people. I don't think his inclusion in J-Stars is a reason to suspect him to show up in Jump Force. Even though it's true for most of the other rosters, Madara is a really specific case. Madara was at the peak of his popularity at the time of him being added into J-Stars, and I certainly would say that he's not anymore, especially when you think about the context of each game. When you look at where the manga is now at the point of Jump Force, and you look at where the manga was all the way back in J-Stars, you can see how they thought that Madara was a good choice for J-Stars, and for the most part, he probably was. But for this game, I think a character like Pain is far more likely to take that slot, or even a character like Gaara, to be honest. But a character like Pain, or Kakashi, or even Itachi, I think is far more likely to take the slot that Madara would have had. Okay, so let's officially go over my predictions and my wish list for all of these characters right here. What you might notice about this particular lineup is that I don't have a single green character on here. Normally my lists do include a green character that I'm pretty confident will show up, but the Naruto roster is very difficult to predict right now because the 2 obvious characters have already been revealed, Sasuke and Naruto, but from there on out, it's pretty rough. So with that in mind, and knowing that this is the prediction list I've been the least confident in, here are my predictions. Pain, Kakashi, Itachi, and Boruto as DLC. The Boruto as DLC, I'm fully aware, is a bold prediction, and not very many people expect that, but that's my prediction nonetheless. My wish list for this would be Pain, Hinata, Gaara, and Itachi. That's right, no Minato or Madara here. I really want to put Sakura on my list if I'm being honest. I just like female characters, man. I want more female characters to be playable. Those are just my 2 cents on the Naruto roster. Let me know what you think about the Naruto rosters. I seriously really enjoyed these conversations, so please let me know your predictions in the comment section, no matter how ridiculous they sound. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember to subscribe for more content like this. Don't forget to leave a like on the video. Also, I should mention I also did a video like this, very similar to this in fact, with NatsuUchiha, who's a fellow content creator. His link is in the description if you want to go watch our video. If you find that video enjoyable, check out more of his content. My name's been Bilbzy. I'll see you in my next video.